This is Earl Amin with the 2024 Site Podcast, where CEOs of mid-sized companies share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because top CEOs know how to listen and be concise. So let's get to it. Question number 1. In just a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you for having me. I'm Lisa Harrington. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Abiding Strategy out of Southlake, Texas. And there are 3 parts to my consulting practice. I'm a strategy coach. I work with CEOs as a Vistage chair where we meet monthly and local executives help each other to solve their business problems. I also run strategy workshops for overall business development and growth and branding. And finally, I'm a keynote speaker and I work with conference planners, both virtually now because of the pandemic, and I speak at the platform level too. And my topics that I talk about, which are mostly in my book as well, is communication, stress management, sales and leadership. And then I also work helping build relationships within organizations using the DISC profile system. I've been using that for about 20 years.
Very good, very good. Question number 2. What's the best thing about being the CEO?
Well, I love being my own boss. I own my own business, of course.
Yes.
And in the past, as CEO of a small company, and even as at other levels in companies, my passion was teaching and coaching and helping people reach their best potential. And so that works out perfectly. You know, now I don't have a direct crew. I don't have direct employees right now. But before, when I managed as many as 35 people at a time, just helping them grow and become the best they can possibly be is perfect. It was just right in my sweet spot. And now I help business leaders to do that for their own staff and their own team and, do the best for their communities. I feel like if we are all better leaders, then we'll have a better world around us. We can bring that.
Well said. Question number 3. I hear from other CEOs that leading their team, as you just spoke to, and being able to see the road ahead can be a challenge. What are your thoughts?
Well, nobody has a crystal ball, so it's tough sometimes to anticipate, say, a pandemic. But often, even in normal times, we see what we want to see about the future. Sometimes we don't have good objectivity for the things that we're passionate about or the work that we do. So I always suggest have a coach, have somebody, it doesn't have to be me, obviously, find your blind spots. Have someone who will hold you accountable to that thing and manage your expectations and be realistic, because we tend to get in our own little vortex of the things we love and maybe we don't quite see the forest for the trees.
Very good. Question number 4. What piece of insight do you want to share with other CEOs?
I have 2 points, 2 things. The first one is that self-care is not selfish. So many CEOs sacrifice everything, and if they collapse because of the stress or the strain, they're no good to anybody else. So please take care of yourself. That's the first thing. And the second thing is you don't have to be the only hero in the room. Ask for help when you need it. Find someone who can help you be objective and hold you accountable, whether it's a friend or a professional coach or a therapist or somebody. Even if you can't be in Vistage with me or somebody like me, then there's a lot of other organizations that do this very well and tons of private coaches. Everybody needs a coach. The very best sports people have coaches. So even if you're going to rise to that level, get help when you need it.
Indeed. Question number 5. What other successful CEOs like yourself would you like to acknowledge and should be on my podcast?
Well, I have about 5 in the list and a dozen more I'll tell you later.
All right.
So my friend Judy Hoberman of Selling in a Skirt, she was instrumental in helping me get my book off the computer and into publication. Fanny Dunnigan from Pathlinks is amazing. Sarah Waskow with BrandNet can talk about business ownership. Ann Small has an international networking group that's amazing. It's faith-based. Ken Stibler is a master chair with Vistage, and there's probably a dozen others. I have such a great support system. I will give you any names that want to come. I'll be able to load up your podcast.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
now for
welcome.
Question number 6, the final question. How do you celebrate a win?
Well, snuggling with my fur babies. I have a lot of them, as you'll find in the book. I like a good Irish whiskey. I travel with my husband in the RV when we've got something really big to do. You know, hey, it's time to take a break. We've worked hard. We go out in the RV and we love it. We love to camp. And then for small wins, even I have friends that I call. I just love chatting about it and talking about how it went and what happened, because usually there's 9 or 10 people around me that have helped me get through something, and I like to call and say thanks. So, gratefulness is a big part of who I am and how I operate. So.
Very good. Lisa, it's been a pleasure having you on. Tell us, how can people find you?
Thank you for asking. Abidingstrategy.com or Lisa@abidingstrategy.com. Or you can call me, 850-528-2121.
Excellent. This is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast. For more insights, go to LinkedIn and search for The Gray Owl Company. Lisa, thank you.
Thank you.